party makeup. Isn't that exciting?
So excited.
What are the feels at the moment? Like, how are you feeling?
Like it's like a nervous, excited energy. I'm excited to see everyone. The venue is stunning.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm just ready to have a good time and look fabulous.
Awesome. And you've sent me photos of the look, so
Yeah.
we'll just roll with that and you guys will see the process of it. Let's get started. So, how has it been being back in Melbourne?
It's good. It's cold. It's really
Cold.
freaking cold.
Yeah.
But it's nice. Flynn's brother looked at me down the barrel, like point blank yesterday and was like, so what do you think about moving back?
Oh.
And I was like, I was like, yeah, we're thinking about it. He was like, I want a straight answer from you. And I was like, oh my gosh, Bailey's literally never like looked at me and like asked me a question before. And I was like, I'm feeling pressure. So it's on the cards.
Because they moved back, hey?
Yeah, they moved back from Perth.
And I saw recently on your story something about like someone asked a question about how do you make that decision about the move?
Oh, yeah. So I think that because we're from different countries, I think our decision to stay in Australia is really like, not a political one because I don't want to get into politics. I just think it's the best option for the both of us. Like the healthcare system here, you know, the laws that they have here are much different than America. And I just think it's better suited to like the way that we want to raise our children, like our lifestyle. So we've decided to stay in Australia. I love what the Gold Coast offers.
Yeah.
Like the sunshine and the walking around and the coffee dates and all of the atmosphere of the Goldie is like so very fun. So I love it. Melbourne's a bit colder, just a little bit colder. But yeah, it's where his family is. So it's like there is just a lot of give and take. I know that Flynn moved to Sydney for me for Fashion Week. He moved to the Gold Coast for me as well, so I could start modeling. So I think it's about time that I like not give back to him because it's a partnership. Like there's 50-50 give and take. But you know, just it's time maybe for me to bless you. To give back to him. So I think what our plan is, if I had to guess, is we'll stay in the Gold Coast for another 6 months. And then, well, our lease is up in October. So six months after that, we'll probably make the move down to Melbourne because we'll have one of our weddings in Melbourne. And then we'll probably stay because we'll probably get pregnant like right after the wedding.
That's exciting.
Yeah. That's the honest to God plan. We're very excited. If we could have had babies yesterday, we would have.
Yeah.
We didn't try for the last couple of months, but like we weren't careful. Just because we were like, okay, that would give us 5 months before the American wedding, which would be enough time to like recover. It'll give the baby 5 months before it goes on a plane for that many hours, which I don't know, whatever. And but the time has passed. So now we're being careful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very ready.
Yeah.
I think like my whole life I've meant to be a mom. And so I've seen the way that Flynn like interacts with kids from the moment that we met. Like kids and animals are just drawn to him. Yeah. And I think that's when you know like they're a really good person.
They feel
like
the energy.
Yeah. So I've never really been with a man that babies are obsessed with. And like on planes at dinners, like they just won't stop staring at him. And I'm like, okay, pretty cute. So I'm excited to see how he is as a father. Yeah. And I think it'll just like skyrocket our relationship. We really want a baby. So I'm really excited.
Definitely. That is something like that you guys are going to create together.
Yeah, definitely like a beautiful concoction
of you guys. The two of you.
Oh, that baby's going to be psycho. In the best way. It's just going to be like a little Energizer bunny that likes high vibes.
Yeah. Good energy. Wholesome, adventurous.
Yeah. All over the place.
Fun and fresh. Yeah. So speaking of kids, because you had a job working with kids. What was that like?
Yeah, so it's actually how I moved to Australia. I moved over here to be an au pair, so that's a live-in nanny. So I lived with this beautiful family in Melbourne, and I came here for a month and then was locked down due to COVID.
Yeah.
So I was locked down in a random family's house that I had just met 4 weeks prior for 9 months. But we all got so close. It was, I've had the biggest joy, like being their nanny. And because I'm American, I got to teach them so many different things. Like all the way from every time I said water, he was like, what? Why do you say water? It's so weird. And like the whole, like, and it just is what it is, but the whole family is like super fit. Yeah. So they all were like really small. Yeah. So when the kids would sit on my lap, they'd be like, why are your legs made of jelly? Oh. I was like, so me and the mom got to teach like, you know, body understanding and like body love and everybody's different. Yeah. So it's just like, there's so many things. I taught them a little bit of Spanish. Like it was just really cool to be able to be a part of their world for a year. And now she's my flower girl and he's my ring bearer. Oh, wow. That's beautiful. Yeah. So, and then the mom, she cried when I asked them and she was like, I was my nanny, like my nanny kids that I nannied for, they were my ring bearer and flower girl. Oh. And I had no idea. I was like, well, that's pretty freaking special. Yeah. So it's sweet. That is lovely. They'd be excited for that. Oh, they, Gigi is the girl. She saw our engagement video kind of reel that I put together. Oh yes, yes. That was a lovely video, by the way. Thank you. It was sweet. It was so much fun. We had the best time. And so she saw it and she started crying and the mom was like, oh my God, what's wrong? Like, what's wrong? And she was like, I can't believe Emmy got married without me. And the brother, who's 5 years old, is like, Gigi, it's not until 2024. And I was like, how do you know that? And like, how do you know what year it is? They're cute, hey? Oh, so freaking cute. Kids soak up anything. Yep. The reel that you did upload blew up, hey? The engagement one? Yeah. Yeah. So it got 6 mil on Instagram. Yeah. And then 11 mil, 5 mil, and 3 mil on TikTok. So from the videos blowing up, what has like happened now, like with your social media? It changed the trajectory of everything. Like literally everything. If I would have known Flynn proposing to me would have blown up my career this much, I would have had him do it. But you know, like also I wouldn't because divine timing is everything. So I think that the way that I've grown has been really natural and it's allowed me to like make relationships and understand the industry. I'm a curve model and I do social media and influencing and what's the other? Content creating. And yeah, so it's been really nice to understand the industry because I know when I first started, if this would have happened, I would have treated the industry just so differently to what I know now. So I'm really happy that it happened when it did. But from Instagram, I went from 20K to 80K and now I'm at 100. And then TikTok, I don't even want to say. I was at 4K and now I'm at almost 50. Yeah. So it's just, yeah, it's pretty cool. I've loved just the reach. I think that the like most feedback that I've gotten from the video itself, it's actually like, I don't know how to feel about it because it makes me sad, but it also makes me happy. Yeah. There's like a lot of plus size women or curvy women that are like, I didn't know girls like us were able to find love. I'm like, I don't know, because it's like, what do you say to that? I just say that, you know, there's always going to be someone that's going to love you and like you're always going to be loved, and if you don't feel it, then you'll need to learn to love yourself because at the end of the day, like it's cliche, but the more that you fall in love with you, the more you can show someone how amazing you are because you fully believe it. Yeah. So it's all mindset over everything. And I just say, like, I guess I'm happy to give you some hope because your value is not in your weight. No. Your value is in who you are as a person. So when most of the time they come back and they're like, oh, but I just don't value myself. And I'm like, well, then that's where you need to start. Yeah. Because if you look in the mirror and all you see is the outside, you're going to like every day nitpick and like just go at it with like not loving that version of you because all you're doing is looking on the outside. Yeah. So I always recommend start with an audit. Literally start with an audit of who you are on the inside. Like I have like questions that I ask and I'm like, What is the answer to this? What's your natural reaction to this? And then I want you to go back and look through your answers and be like, oh, yep, like I don't love the answer to that. And it's okay because it's your natural reaction. But you need to get to a place where you love all the answers that come out of your mouth because it's actually who you are.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then you need to start thinking about, okay, well, what do I need to change so that my natural reaction, like my favorite question is, if you were with your partner and your dream person like walked into a bar, and this is very American because I know that Australians don't really think this way. But if you did and like your dream person walked in and you had an opportunity to sleep with them, like don't know how the conversation would end, just you have the opportunity. Would you do it or wouldn't you? And if your answer is I would cheat, and then you look at the answers later and you're like, wow, I don't like the answer to that question, then you need to think, okay, well, how do I get there? Is it a different partner? Is it a self-worthy thing? Is it like, what is it about me that I need to like, not change, but just like alter so that I do fall in love with who I am?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if you love who you are, it doesn't matter what you look like.
Yeah.
Weight, anything.
We are in a relationship with ourselves until the end. Right?
Absolutely. And if you don't love you, that's a sad, partnership.
So how did you start going into like the self-love route and like, I guess, coming to this position that you're at now?
Listen, it was not like one day I woke up and I was like, ta-da!
Yeah.
I'm magic. I've always been pretty self-confident. I've been 220 pounds before. I've been 160 pounds before. I don't know what the conversion is to kilos. But I, like, even at my thinnest and even at my heaviest, I was still around just like the same confidence level. Nothing really changed. And so I was like, oh, well, that's freaking weird. I was like, I thought when I got skinny, all my problems magically disappeared. I thought men loved me. I thought that I was like never gonna have to chase another man down my entire life. I've always been a little bit boy crazy. But I've just had this weird confidence. And so I think once I started realizing that like men weren't the answer to everything, that's when I started looking at things differently, because my whole life I chased guys.
Right. Where do you think that came from?
That's definitely like mom and daddy issues.
Feels.
Yeah. When I would get my heart broken or when I would be upset about something, we didn't always in our home talk about crying or like feeling your feelings. It was put on a pair of heels, put on some red lipstick and go to the bar.
Yeah.
Just like have a drink, your worries are fine, drink it away, meet a guy, make out with someone. Like, and my mom wasn't
not processing it.
No, yeah. And my mom wasn't telling me to like drink and like go hook up with guys, but like we just didn't have a lot of like processing your feelings. Like just talking about your feelings really wasn't something that, if we did talk about, that I was used to. So it did come to a point where when I moved to Australia, that's when my self-love started to blossom, because I moved away from all of the, American culture. I moved away from my family, which was really hard. Moved away from like my home base of like friends and everyone that I've ever known. Kind of my reputation in America, which was a bit sleazy. Like, it was just, I just didn't live an authentically Emily life in America. I was very like robust, all over the place, excited, like who I am now.
Yeah.
But I also was like, I'll cheat. I'll do things. I'll bat my eyelashes to get wherever I need to be. I'll cut corners. That's fine. And then when I got to Australia and I didn't have anyone, not a freaking soul, except for my host family. I had a lot of alone time at the beach. We lived on the beach, and I would just sit there crying in my puffer jacket because it was Melbourne in the middle of winter. And I was just on my notes on my phone typing out every single thing I was feeling, and I was doing an audit of like who I was and what I wanted to change, and then how do I actively take those steps to be that person that I authentically felt was the real me. Because who we act isn't always exactly who we are. I would change my personality no matter the situation. in America. I would literally be like a different person in one room and then walk into the next person because I knew who I needed to impress or talk up or whatever it was. So I was like, I don't want to be that person. I want to be the person that walks into a room with this people and they're like, oh, hey, Em. And I walk into that person, they're like, oh, hey, Em. Like there's just no difference really.
Yeah. And you can either take me as I am or not and stay there.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think it took all of that, you know, hard truths to tell yourself that I was really like, okay, well, I guess I need to make a change and I need to make decisions that actively reflect those changes in who I authentically am.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it changed then. Also, the Australian men just like weren't that keen on me. So I don't know if it was like my personality was too overbearing, but whatever, because it was me, it was who I was.
Yeah.
So I stopped really like looking for my thing in men.
Yeah.
Because no one here would give it to me.
Yeah.
So I was like,
so you had to like change that up.
Yeah. So like all of the validation that I would get from American men, I could not seek here because as much as I tried, everyone was like, what? So I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna have to do it my freaking self. And it just started there. It started really simple with love notes on my mirrors. And then it went to more deep about like all the things that I absolutely love about my body. I did go on a health journey when I got here. So that's when I lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
But it just happened. And I don't think a lot of people would believe me just because of the culture here. And I know you probably understand, but if there's American listeners, they're gonna be like, yeah, whatever. But like that lifestyle here is so freaking active. It's so different. Like you walk literally everywhere when you have the opportunity. I only had a car to take the kids to school. Only had a car to see Flynn when we started dating. And like in Sydney when we lived there, I did not have a vehicle. Like we took the train everywhere and like yada, 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 yada. So just the lifestyle was so different. People went on walks.
Yeah, they book in walks.
They book walks. And so I was like, that's freaking weird. But I loved it. And I started running because I was on the beach and in the sun. And, you know, I think I let go of a lot of the like self-hate in my weight as well. And like just learned to like love my body. And I learned to nourish it because it needed the greens. It needed the nutritious. So I kind of fell in love with my body, and that in itself just like helped me, not helped, but like ended up knocking off some weight. Yeah. And then it got me to what I call now is like my natural weight. So when I got to this natural point, I was like, okay, I work out often. Yeah. So I still work out 3 to 5 times a week. I eat super right. We eat steak and salad every night. If not, it's chicken stir fry. And this is just where my body likes to naturally fall. Yeah. And I've been to the place where, you know, I can really, really work out, stick to an extremely serious diet, be the person that's a little bit smaller than I am now. But I just don't, maybe it comes with age, but
doesn't
like,
feel like you?
It just doesn't feel like me. And I'm like, it's okay.
That
you know?
is okay.
It's okay to be an extra large. It's okay to be a large. It's okay to be a medium. It's okay to be an extra small. It's okay to be a double extra small. It's okay to sit wherever you want to sit on that line as long as it's comfortable and authentic to you. Yeah. So I think, once I started to understand and accept that, especially with the sizing difference, a size large here is a size small in America. Oh. So I was a 5XL when I moved here. Right. Because I was a 3XL in America. Yeah. So I was like,
Yeah, it would have really got in your head. Hey?
Oh, it freaked me out. It freaked me out so hard. And so you had to let go of it. Because I was like, you know what? If I'm 2 sizes smaller in a different country, what the frick does size matter? It just doesn't. Just put on whatever's comfortable. Whatever size it is whatever size it is.
And what's that saying about like you fitting clothes versus what's that quote?
Oh, your clothes fit you, you don't fit your clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super, super important. And I try to preach that all the time. Just buy a size up. If it's more comfortable. When is the last time that you went out and someone checked the size of your shirt?
True. Never. No one's ever done that.
No. Nope. I've never been somewhere and someone's been like, oh my God, I love your dress. What size is it?
Yeah, Can you imagine?
I would actually not know what to do.
Yeah, I'd be like, goodbye.
What size do you want it to be, babe? So I think that's how it started. And then, you know, it kind of just blossomed from there.
How has being on social media, preaching all this been like for you? What's this experience like?
When I first started, I had 3K on Instagram. And I got besties with someone who's she's been in the industry for years. She was a model for 10 years. And then she started doing social media about 2 years ago, probably 3 years now. And she boomed like crazy. And she was like, you gotta find your niche. And I was like, that's what everyone freaking says. You gotta find your niche, you gotta find your niche. I was like, I don't have a niche. She was like, you kinda have a niche. And I was like, no, I'm not, I'm a normal girl. And she's like, are you? And I was like, I guess not. And she was like, well, what makes you different? What are you passionate about? If you had to open a business tomorrow, what would it be surrounded on? And I was like, I don't know, fashion. She was like, why fashion? I was like, I don't know, probably something that would actually fit me and like be the size that I am. She was like, okay, what else? And I was like, probably things that fit other people too. And she was like, okay. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, that really started my thought process because I was like, well, why do I care so much? And I was like, oh, because if everybody has clothes that fit them, it doesn't really matter what size you are, then, you know, you can go from there. And so I started leaning into the niche, which was body love, self-love, body positivity. And I just got obsessed with the feedback. You know, the women were just like, wow, like, thank you for showing me that my body jiggles too, and that you can be fun and hot and sexy and pretty and still have rolls. And, you know, the videos that go the most viral are the ones of me shaking my belly. Like, shake it like a salsa.
Yeah, I love those videos when they come up. They're amazing.
But they're just the ones that everyone loves the most. And I'm
but
like,
it's you being you.
It's just me being me.
Yeah.
And I just want people to know that you can freaking shake what your mama gave you.
Literally.
And everybody has it. And I know it's normal for me to have it because I'm plus size or curvy. But everybody has it, everyone.
Yeah.
And so the girl that takes my content, she's a size extra small. So we are literally like opposite on the spectrum. And so I like have her feedback for things as well because I don't just cater to curvy or plus size. I want everybody to feel beautiful in their body.
Yeah.
No matter the size.
Yeah.
Because like my best friend, she can't gain weight. And so her whole life she's been called skinny. She's been told to eat a burger and all of that. It is just as bad as go to the gym or eat a salad. And so, yeah, I just want to like body positive page for absolutely everyone. Yeah. That's how it started, was just like figuring out what my niche was and then really diving in to how it like suited me authentically, which was shaking my body. My mom hated it when I first started.
Really?
Hated it. She always controlled what I put on social media.
Right.
And I told her, I set a boundary. You know, you're either gonna like my social media or you're gonna unfollow me.
Oh,
like you don't
slay.
But also, you don't have to watch it.
Yeah, you don't. You don't.
And it's just like, and my mom's not a bully. I'm just like transitioning into this next topic. But it's like same thing for the freaking bullies that comment on stuff and they're like, oh, whatever they say. I truly don't try to pay that much attention. Yeah. Block and delete. And they just, you know, they go on and they say what they do. And you're just like, babe, scroll.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have, I'm sorry it popped up on your For You page. I can teach you how to like put, I don't want to see this type of content anymore. Very simple.
How do you deal with the haters?
Honestly, Flynn. He's like my, I don't know, he's just my protector. And he will like read the comments with me if I like want to go through them. Right. Just as kind of like maybe a support. Yeah. And we'll talk about why the comment's wrong, or we'll just laugh it off and delete it. Or he's like, oh, I want to respond so bad. And I'm like, I don't let bullies bully bullies on my page. I'm like, so no responding. But yeah, he's just like, he's my biggest support when it comes to the bullies, just because he's like, don't listen to him. And I will say, and like, I try not to talk about this often, just because it kind of negates everything that I preach. But when I did find Flynn.
Yeah.
And you know, Flynn loves me for who I am. He loves my curves. He loves my body. He literally loves like every part of it.
Yeah.
It's been much easier to kind of like keep diving into it, maybe a different level of self-love while being with him. Just because he does actually genuinely love every part of me.
Yeah.
And I think it's like something that I've never felt before. And so I really like hope that everyone gets to feel that kind of love. I'm sure you feel it with Jenny. It's very clear.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like, that's something that I'd like to talk about one day, but I definitely don't talk about now just because like my demographic is just a bit different. So I hope that everyone finds an unconditional love. But he's the best. He's so supportive.
Isn't that exciting that like you're gonna get married to this
Yes.
guy?
Oh, it's very exciting. I've actually been engaged before.
Oh yes. I remember you telling me in Bali. What?
Yes.
What's the feels around like now you're doing it the second time?
You know, it's like, it's actually night and day. So I know like, obviously, when you do something once and then you do it again, for everything, you're like, okay, I learned from this mistake. I'll be sure to do this thing better. When it came to the actual proposal, it was the feelings that I felt inside were completely night and day. I was actually going to pass out when Flynn proposed to me. Like, I was not okay. He literally shocked me. Like, no, he's like my dream guy. There's nothing like that I have bad to say about my ex. He's an amazing man. But he just wasn't like the perfect fit for me. And I kind of knew that. But I was forcing this narrative on myself. I was 22 years old, and I was forcing it because all of my friends were getting engaged. And even though we were young, it's literally the American way.
Yeah.
And he was tall, he was handsome, he had a great job, and I was like, yep, this is it for me. This is the best I'm ever gonna get.
Right.
Because I wasn't in my self-love journey yet. So I was like, yep, this is it, I'm good. He's great. On paper, fantastic. But like when I was with him, I'd get the ick, and I was like, it's fine. I'm gonna punish myself because I don't deserve it, rah, rah, rah.
Right.
And so then when he proposed, and I was like, I didn't even cry. And I am so emotional. So like the feeling when it actually happened, night and day.
Yeah.
When we were on the plane from the first proposal, on the plane back, because he did it somewhere tropical, I had already bought from Amazon all of my bridesmaid things. I'd already started planning the entire engagement party. It was literally done by the time we touched down. And I was like ready to announce it to the world, right?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, flashy, flashy, flashy. Here's this. We're going to spend money on that. Yep, we're going to have to fit the bill here. Let's do the bridal luncheon there. We'll do this, this, and this. Like literally had everything coordinated down to the wire.
Yeah.
And then for the second one, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna chill the F out and enjoy being a fiance. And it has happened so naturally in all the conversations that comes with weddings and, you know, engagement parties and parents and bridal party and all of that have been so natural and not forced, and everything has happened in its own time. Like, we're at the engagement party tonight, right?
Yeah.
And I got engaged 3 months ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, which like, okay, sounds good, like good timing, but I think our engagement party was 2 weeks after in my former relationship. So it's like...
So it felt really rushed before.
Yeah, because we were just like, yep, gotta do it, gotta get it done.
Right.
And then this one has just been so much fun. Like, so much fun. All the conversations are happy and fun. Like, we are so excited about everything. Tonight is like, I don't know. It's so good. It's really, it's just the feeling is night and day. And I'm like, oh, God, if there's any advice I could say to anyone, especially in your early 20s, wait.
Yeah.
We knew each other for 9 months when we got engaged the first time. And then when I realized that it wasn't right, I was in therapy, thank God. Thank God for my therapist. And I was crying on the floor. Because when I lose it in therapy, I can't sit in the couch. I have to sit on the ground. And I don't know if that's normal.
No. There's no like normal way to process like being in that process of being in therapy.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is, whatever naturally comes up.
Yeah. Well, the floor naturally came up for me a lot. And so I was crying on the floor and I was looking at my ring and I was like, it's so dumb. It's so expensive. I don't know why I have it. And she literally, I will never forget. She was like, why do you have it? And I was like, she was like, if love isn't the first thing that comes to your mind, she was like, just have a think on what that brings up for you. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. I was like, so I processed it the way that I did. I had a conversation with my ex and he just understood. We agreed, we broke it off. And then 6 months later, I moved to Australia.
How did you like choose to move? Was it because of that?
No, I had processed my breakup at about the 2-month mark.
Yeah.
Just because it probably was more of a transaction than like a love.
Right.
So it was pretty easy to process.
Yeah.
It was just like, because I did it for not publicity, I just needed like, I was the CEO of a major brand in America, like I had a lot of visibility. I won Atlanta's 40 under 40. Like I was the youngest general manager in the company at the time. Like there was just a lot of what I felt like was spotlight on me.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of over it after me and my ex broke up. And I was like, all right, we are changing the narrative. We're doing something different. I worked for my mom. I could feel like my relationship with my mom was starting to get, it just started to get a little bit bumpy. And I wanted to make sure that our relationship never got to like a really bad place.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll start looking for other things. So I decided I want to be a flight attendant because I wanted to travel the world.
As we all do.
As we all do. And I got to the final stages of like the best company in America's, the interview process, like the final stage. It was like a 3-week thing. And they told me I didn't get it.
Oh.
And I was like, what? Because I, in my life in America, never not got anything.
Right.
So I was like, what do you mean I have not gotten this? So I was like, who can I talk to? What can I do? Whose like elbow do I need to shake? Whose freaking eyelashes do I need to bluff? And I just actually didn't get it. And I was like, okay, well, this is the first time I've literally ever been told no. So I need to figure out how to handle this and what I need to do. And my mom was like, well, why don't you be an au pair? Because I was an intern at the Children's Hospital at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I guess I can do that. I was like, there's not a better time to change up like everything. I was living at a long stay Airbnb with a gorgeous woman. And all of my stuff was packed up in a storage unit. I literally was going to leave my job anyway. And I was like, there will never, ever be another time in my life where I can straight up like take a bag and leave.
Yeah.
And it was just gonna be for a year.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, frick yeah, I'll do that. So I went on something called aupairworld.com and I matched with all these families. So there was one in Australia and one in Spain.
Ooh.
And the one in Spain was a divorced father with 2 daughters. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna go be a stepmom. I was like, I'm gonna perfect my Spanish because I already speak it. And I'm gonna go live like a beautiful, perfect life and move to Spain. And my mom was like, okay, what about the Australian family? Super wholesome family, beautiful relationship.
Yeah.
Son and a daughter, loved musical theater, loved traveling. We were gonna go to Paris. We were gonna go to all these places. And for like in the year, it was literally in our like contract.
Yeah.
And then my mom was like, when will you ever live in Australia? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I will literally never come back to Australia in my entire life. I was like, I'll just go travel for a year, say that I've like lived in Australia, and then I'll come back home. That did not happen.
Yeah,
so,
look how things turned out.
Yeah, I literally got on the plane from Atlanta to LA. And this was in February. And the like rumor of COVID had just started.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Masks were not mandatory, but my grandma was like, get yourself a mask. And my uncle ordered like one of those professional ones for the nurses.
Yeah.
And off of Amazon, like had it delivered to my house. And they were like, wear a mask, rah, rah, rah. And there were only 3 people on the plane from LA to Sydney. And I was like, well, this is weird. And then I touched down. Obviously, Australia had the strictest rules. And then I was stuck. And I already had made like a good group of au pair friends that we would like all go do like the walks and the drop-offs together, the coffees. And one by one, they all started going home.
Oh, yeah.
So back to Germany, back to the UK, back to Ireland, back to Scotland, back to the US, back to Canada. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, what am I gonna do? And so my host parents ended up moving out of the master suite wing. And they were like, here, take it. And I was like, what?
That's so nice.
They tried to make me as comfortable as freaking possible because they were like, you could do whatever you want, like whatever you want, but if you want to stay, we would love for you to stay and we'll make it as like comfortable as possible for you. And I was like, okay, well, you're the best, like ever. So nice. And yeah, so I just decided to stay and then I saw Flynn on Instagram and DM'd him.
How did you find him on Insta? Like, was it on the explore page or like someone's friend?
In my au pair group, we went to our favorite coffee shop. It was called Sunshine. And one of the baristas there, we got really close with her. And her boyfriend at the time was friends with Flynn.
Yeah.
So every time that like they posted a group picture together, Flynn was in it. And I was like, who are you? Who is this human? And so I went to his page. Obviously, we did the like Y2K thing. We followed each other, liked each other's pictures. I'm not even sure if kids do that anymore. It's more of a millennial thing, the whole follow for follow, like for like. We did that, and then I DM'd him, and I was like, we should get a drink sometime. It's in the middle of COVID. And he was like, well, we as in you and I. And I was like, yeah, I think we like owe it to the universe to get a drink together. And he was like, who are you? And I was like, my name's Emily. I'm an au pair. I'm from America. He was like, America. And it just like fell away after that.
Yeah.
We went for a smoothie and a walk for our first date. Socially distanced walk.
Yeah.
And the rest was history.
Oh.
Literally fell in love. I think we dropped, because we were all like obviously talking to other people as well. I think we both were like, yeah, this is it.
This is the person.
2 weeks into dating, I looked at him and I was like, when are you gonna make me your girlfriend? And he was scared as shit. He literally was like, what? And I could see him start sweating and I was like, oh my God, that was not the right thing to say. I was like, oh no. And we were waiting for sushi, so it's not even like I could duck and roll.
How has wedding planning been like?
Oh, it's very exciting. We we're planning 2 weddings. So when I first had the idea to do 2 weddings, I was like, oh my God, it'll be so fun. It's like 2 parties. Wrong.
Oh.
Absolutely wrong. Not wrong, but just like, oh my God, planning 2 weddings in 2 different countries. A bit high strung. It's a lot. I have a wedding planner in Australia. She's the best. And then I have my mom in America, so she's doing a lot of the legwork, if not all of it.
Yeah.
She is really doing the most there. So she went and saw the venue. She's gonna go do a food tasting. She's gone and done all of that. We're gonna be married on a rooftop overlooking Atlanta for the American wedding. And the American wedding is family only. So Flynn's mom and his brother and his brother's girlfriend.
So like your sister-in-law.
My sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Very excited. I get a sister-in-law, cousin-in-law, mother-in-law, father-in-law. So they're all coming over to America. So the wedding is gonna be like actually like blended family.
Yeah.
Realness, funness, all the drama that comes when you blend families. You know, our families are so different. America, as I've kind of said earlier, is just so much more unchill.
Yeah.
And Australia is so much chiller. So it's gonna be so fun to see the 2 collide.
True.
Because my mom is a perfectionist and she will die on that hill. She is a typical Southern belle, has to please like everyone, make sure everyone's taken care of. And Australians are so freaking chill. Y'all are like, yeah, wherever the wind blows, we'll do this, we'll do that. All of my friends that are engaged that are Australian, they're like, wow, you move fast. I'm like, how are you guys just sitting still? It's because y'all are so chill.
Was that like your first impression of Australians?
Oh, frick yeah.
Yeah.
When I first got here, I was like, what is happening? I was like, why isn't everyone on all edges at all times? And I was like, well, that's why everyone's so freaking beautiful here. Like, because y'all are so go with the flow.
No stress.
No stress. And I'd never heard of no stress when I first...
Oh, like the saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and now I say it all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, me too. No dramas.
Yeah.
When I first got here... my host mom was like, how are you going? Yeah. And I was like, where am I I'm going on a run. And she was like, no, how are you going? And I was like, do you mean how are you doing? And she was like, yeah, how are you doing? And I was like, why in the world would you say, how are you going? That doesn't make any sense. And now it's everywhere. It's all anybody says. Yeah. I even say it to my sister, how are you going? How's your new job? And she's like, what? Who are you turning into? Flynn and I we don't fight about it, but we tussle about it all the time.
Just like joking. Inside jokes.
Oh yeah. Even the way you say Reese's is weird.
Oh, the chocolate?
Yeah.
The biscuit?
Yeah. How would you call it?
Reese's?
Yeah, Reese's.
Right. So what's next for him?
Next, how so? Like goals are actually what am I doing?
Well, I remember in Bali, you spoke quite a lot about like manifesting and everything like that, and how you actually got these goals in place and then how you actually lived them. Yeah. Like, you know, you moving here, you saving the amount of money, you getting these deals. So like, is there something like that happening for you at the moment with like a vision board or like something like that? Yeah.
Yeah. I actually just looked at I had a vision board and it was called by 2023 I Want to Be. And it like had everything on there, and I haven't done it yet. But I, in my head, have like been going through and slashing it. So one of my goals for 2023 was 10,000 followers on Instagram.
Look at you now. What is that? I don't know the maths, but it's way
10
more.
times.
Yeah. Oh,
literally. I'm at 10 times and it's July.
Oh, shit.
So I'm
Take
like,
that one off.
Oh, done. And another one is like, I wanted to make 10 grand from social media. And when I wrote that down, I was like, this is a stretch. This is a bloody stretch. Because in the beginning, I didn't charge anything. And if I did, it was like $100. Yeah. And so I was like, there's no way that I'm going to make 10 grand off of social media. So I was like, I'll just put it as a goal. It'll be my side hustle. That one's ticked off.
Wow.
I had engagement on there. I put it over the fridge. So I wasn't just manifesting for me. I was manifesting for everyone.
The whole party's mode.
And so that one was ticked off. You know, there was Be on a Billboard. That's been ticked off. I think it's almost everything. I didn't hit my book goal. I stopped reading books. So as I'm thinking about it now, I'm like, okay, I need to get back on that one. But like all of my big career ones, you know, I wanted to be signed by an international agency. Yeah. And we have that now. And, you know, it's been an awesome ride. And so I think for this next year, it's going to be a little less on, it's still going to be goals, but it's going to be a little less on like actual specific things. I think it's going to be more of like a feeling or like, not a feeling, well, I think it's just like a state of being that I'm going to strive for.
Like in a state of flow or contentment or peace.
Yeah, peace. Happiness. And I think that there's so many elements to happiness and peace, and contentment as well for me is a huge one. Like just being content with your life, where you're not always stretching for, I want to do this more, I need this more, I need this, I need this, I need this. Because when I got to 100K, I was like, oh, this is it. And then a week later, I was like, yeah, I want 1 million. And Flynn's like, he's like, you have to just be. And I was
you have to be in like the moment that you're in and enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Like you've already achieved this. So it's like, let's actually sit with it and enjoy it.
Yeah, and like be at peace with it and be happy with it and be content with it. three words, happiness, contentment, and joy, are like my goal for next year.
Yeah.
Because we're getting married twice.
Yeah.
So, you know, those will both be on the list. You know, with peace comes financial stability. Mm-hmm. So that'll be on the list. So it's not going to be like an exact dollar amount, but, you know, enough that I can look at Flynn and be like, yeah, we're at peace. Yes, we can start trying to have a baby. Yes, we're having weddings, but we can afford to go to Fiji, which we're doing next year. Mm-hmm. And there's just many things that I want to be sure that we can do, but we can also be happy, joyous, and content in the moment.
Yeah.
So one of the goals, and this is definitely a physical goal, not like a happiness, joy, and contentment, but it will like help me celebrate like my purpose and my brand.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to do a line with a brand.
Yeah.
So,
that would be so cool.
Yeah, I don't know which one it's gonna be.
Yeah.
But I know that it'll be open to like the entire company, so I would love it to be like a size inclusive company. You know, I'd love for it to go bigger than an XL, which I think in this day there's a lot of companies that do go bigger than an XL.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of possibilities. I'd love for it to be Australian, so I'd love for them to be Gold Coast or Melbourne based, just so I can work really closely with them. That's like my ultimate goal for 2024.
Do you define it as success when you achieve these goals? Or how do you define success?
I think success is defined by, and I hate to keep harping, I feel like success is a feeling. So I feel like success is determined by how you feel when because life for me has started to get a little bit different when I leave my house.
Yeah.
So when we go out at nights, I almost always recently like see someone that knows me or follows me on Instagram.
Right.
So everyone kind of knows my story.
Yeah.
Or whatever I tell them on social media, which is my story. And so there's a lot of hype recently, which like is very different from life before. So I think it's just making sure that I am being my most authentic self on social media, so that when people do see me, they do actually see and know me.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I hate when I go places and I meet someone and I'm like, oh, you're like this on social media, but you're so different in person. And so I definitely like want to make sure that I stick to my authentic self.
Yeah.
And, you know, so in success, I think comes all of the stability of seeing people that know me outside in the real world. I think success is, you know, being able to build on not just being an influencer, but starting something that's impactful, which would be a clothing line with a brand or an edit. You know, it would be something that would actually make a difference.
Yeah.
There are a couple of things in the works that I'm excited for that will hopefully be brought to fruition super soon. That's all about like building confidence, learning self-love, learning body love. So hopefully something like that will be coming.
Is that the one I messaged you about?
Yes.
Yeah. That's so exciting, dude.
Well, I don't want to speak too much about it yet because there's not like it's just in the air right now. Yeah. So I'm working with this beautiful, amazing woman, and we are gonna partner up and see what we can bring to life. But it's like stuff like that when it comes to success. And like the difference when I see me versus another influencer is like, I think everybody has their own version of success. And if just being an influencer and getting like free things is your version of success, I love that for you.
Yeah.
Like that is amazing. When I first started, I was like, that is the coolest part. I was like, I want everything for free. I want to talk to this person. I want to know this person. And then as I'm growing, I'm like, I would love something that's more sustainable that like could actually help people. So success to me would be growing a family. Success to me would be making a difference. And success for me would be like providing something for someone that helps them view themselves as something different than they originally did before they knew me. So, you know, I want to change lives. I want to be happy and content in my life. And I think if I could achieve all of those things, then that would be like the pinnacle of success for me. So it's not monetary. It's not about the number of followers. It's not about how much money I make. It's more about the difference, how I feel, and like how others feel when they're around me. Because, you know, we can grow every day. Like, hopefully next time we do this, I'm like, remember that time we did behind the
scenes? You see, like, your growth and your progression and your development.
Yeah. And just as who you are as a person.
Exactly.
So that's what I would love.
Well, change is like the only thing that's permanent. So we're always continuously going to evolve.
Oh, and if you can just keep growing and keep learning and be open to learning. I think, like, you know, when I first met Flynn, he was so set in his ways. He was like, yep, I know everything. This is this is not. And I was like, you need to learn grace. I was like, boy, I'm going to teach you something today. And I was like, you need to learn grace. You need to learn, like, there are so many ways that we can grow. And if you think that you know everything, this is not going to work. I was like, we're going to have a lot of work to do. But I don't want to change you. So if you truly think you know everything, then it's probably not going to work. But if you're open to it and you are like, yep, let's learn about this. Let's talk about this. Let's grow about this. Then I think that's something to be looking out for in a human. And I think that's something that I want to hold on to forever. I never want to get to a position where I'm like, I'm the best. I can do it all. I'm going to go teach a class because I know everything. I want to be like, well, I want to teach a class. This is my experience. And I want to help others grow. And hopefully they can make me grow in the process. I think, like, I knew that I was making a difference in Flynn's life when we were filling out the second part of my visa process. And there's like a whole like thing he has to do. A whole little workbook. And at the end, it's like, talk about the way the applicant has changed, like influenced your life or changed your life and was around the world. Impacted it. And he was like, I can't tell you exactly what he said, but it was like she honestly has changed the man that I am today. And every day I want to be a better person because of her. And I was like, I'm gonna die. I was like, someone call an ambulance. I'm literally gonna pass out. And I was like, if I can make the man that said he knew everything and was so stuck in his ways, like actually believe that, you know, he could have grace and that he can make a difference and that the way he acts would impact somebody, like, that's freaking cool. Learning and growing is everything.
It's all we've got, really. It's how we can learn and, I mean, obviously learn, but become a better human being.
But it just brings it all the way full circle, where it's like, if you're learning and growing, then you are working on who you are on the inside. And it's like, and that is how you fall in love, because if you know
with yourself,
if you know how you're going to make decisions, done. If you react to someone and you're like, I have no idea why I did that, then you're going to hate the way that you reacted. But if you know your decision making process and you're open to growing and learning from mistakes.
And reflecting on why you thought that, why you reacted that way.
Then you're going to live a beautiful life. It's going to be hard as hell, but you're going to live a great life.
What would you say to someone who is trying to step into their power or trying to, I guess, form that relationship and they're struggling?
With themselves?
With themselves, the self-love.
This is a question that shows up in my DMs quite often. I normally tailor it to the story. Because one of my favorite parts about my job is that women do come to me with everything. They'll tell me their entire past. They'll tell me where they want to be in the future. And you know, it gets me really excited to like hear their stories and why they're opening up to me. And I think what my most consistent feedback for them is to honestly do the audit. Ask yourself hard questions. And if you don't know what questions to ask, go to a relationship page. Like, you know, where they say to do before you get married. Like, there's a list. Answer them yourself.
I've seen them, they're like, really good. Hey, they're almost like journaling prompts.
Exactly. So I'd like answer them yourself and see what answers come up for you. And then a lot of it that I get is body, like body love and body shaming and body hate. So there, I say start with the sticky notes. Your boyfriend's cute. I think the number one feedback that I get when people are trying to start with self-love is getting over the body hate, which I hate to use hate, but there's a lot of women that come and they're like, I hate my body.
Yeah.
And so I say start with sticky notes. Start with the freaking sticky notes and be like, I love myself because of this. I am beautiful because of this. Like, my favorite part about me is my cellulite. Cellulite is unique. Cellulite is beautiful.
There's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it. I love my rolls. And start giving those parts of the body that aren't your favorite cute names. Like, start calling them cute things. Because if you start doing that, you're going to be like, oh, my cute little rolls are actually cute little rolls.
Because they're literally a part of you.
Yeah.
They're part of you, and it's who you are, and there's no point in trying to like have a fight with it or like hate it, because it's who you are. It's what you've got.
Well, and there's just going to be this push and pull for the rest of your life, and you're going to be freaking exhausted. If you hate yourself every time you look in the mirror, there are reflections everywhere.
Yeah.
In your car door, in a window. Like, you are going to be, it's just going to be this horrible push and pull for the rest of your life. So you got to like it.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, then change it. But if you're going to be working your ass off to change it, then you just keep going round and round and round. So if it's ever...
It's a long process.
It is. And if there's ever... if it has anything to do other than... If it's just like how to start with self-love, I always say, just start from the inside. So start doing things that will make you love who you are more. And that is growth. That is learning. That is development. There are self-love books. There are self-help books. Brene Brown.
Oh, I love her.
Have you read Atlas of the Heart?
I haven't. I've just seen her TED Talks.
I love her TED Talks and her podcasts.
Oh,
anytime she comes onto a podcast, my heart literally melts. I'm like, speak to my soul, Brene. But Atlas of the Heart, she goes through, I swear I could talk about this all day. And she has this like thesaurus of like all these words that will help you understand how to like love yourself more. Or like just emotion words like sadness, anger, like happiness. And she goes through and she has definitions, like the correct definition for every single word and like a little story behind it. And I'm like, that is such a great way to start when it comes to self-love, because you can actually recognize emotions that you're going through. You can put a name behind it. You can put a reason why behind it and a definition. And be like, I'm not overwhelmed right now. I'm stressed. Or, you know what? I've passed the level of stress. I'm overwhelmed. And that's when you know that you can take a step back, take a break, and give your body what it needs. Whether it's a sit with some tea, whether it's some time with a friend, really just getting to know yourself is the way to start self-love. Taking time.
That naming thoughts has been massive for me. Like, I'm starting to call like my thoughts and feelings like Little Miss characters. Like,
I have one of the mugs.
Yeah, it's so cute. But like, just to like, or like even the Seven Dwarfs or whatever, and Snow White, like, just like naming them has really helped, and also realizing like that they're emotions and thoughts, but they're not you. Like, you know, they're what we're feeling in the moment, but sometimes they can really eat at us if we don't detach or identify that they're not they're not completely us. Yeah.
I think the number one thing that I could say with, you know, the word detaching is like actually freaking detach. If you detach, like if you give your emotions little miss, I freaking love that. If you like to just detach it and call it something, then it's no longer like you. So it's the same thing with like, people ask me all the time, how do you look in the mirror and not hate yourself? And I'm like, I detach. I literally detach who I see in the mirror with my worthiness. Like there's no correlation whatsoever. However I look in the mirror is how I look that day. It does not go any deeper than that.
And it doesn't define you for your worth or like who you are as a person.
No. I learned something and it was like, life is empty and meaningless. And I was like, okay, no, it's not. My life has a lot of meaning. And the director of the thing I was at, she was like, just take a step back and listen. Like, life is empty and meaningless to the point of you will put meaning behind something and I will put meaning behind something. But like this ring on my finger could mean something completely different to you than it means to me. Because to you, I'm engaged to that guy. To me, this is a representation of like the love of my life.
Yes.
So like we put meaning, every single person, behind like something that's completely different.
Yeah.
So if everybody does that, then nothing actually really means anything.
Exactly.
If actually nothing means something, then why is everyone so serious?
Stressing about it, yeah. Life shouldn't be taken seriously, hey. We're just floating on a big ball.
Like what I say most often is once I get down to this part, if we're really chatting a bit in the DMs, is like don't take life so seriously.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah.
And relax. And they're like, oh, it's my job, it's my career. And I'm like, yeah, it's gonna make you money.
Yeah.
That's what you want, right? Okay.
What would you say to your younger self, and what would you say to your older self if you had the opportunity to have them at a little tea party?
Older self, I've never heard that before. Younger self, I would definitely try to preach that you don't have to fit into society's standards of bodies. You know, growing up as a teenager, I stole diet pills from pharmacies because you had to be 18 or older to buy them. And I was not. And I was bullied so much in high school and middle school that I literally stole them and would take them every day before school. And I think I tried so hard to be like super skinny and super little. And if I could just tell my younger self that like you are beautiful just the way you are, and like one day you will be this for so many women. Like, but then I'm like, would I actually change a thing? I would. I don't want anybody to like stick diet pills down their throat. But like, I literally, I would just say that you're beautiful no matter your body. And I would try to preach as much as I can. I would get her, you know, role models and models that were curvy and plus size, so that she could see that you could be beautiful at any size. Because, you know, when I was younger, I'm a bit older than you.
Yeah.
It was Victoria's Secret model in the olden days. Yeah, it wasn't the new Victoria's Secret. It was all very very stick thin. So those were my role models. So I would get her good role models and I'll tell her she's beautiful just the way she is. My older self? What do you say to your older self? I would just, this probably isn't what you're looking for, but I would say that I'm really happy and like that I'm having a lot of fun. And I really hope that she is too.
Yeah.
I want to stay happy and have fun forever. And I hope I always like take the Australian route. That like life isn't that serious and we're all chilling.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's beautiful.
That'll be it.
Love that. And even as you were saying, I'll spray your face. But even as you were saying, about, I don't know if I'd change anything, like for your young self. You learned from everything that you went through, you know?
Yeah.
And all of that has brought you to the place that you are now.
Yeah.
And like, you are doing such amazing things. And it's like, whatever you do is going to be absolutely incredible, 100%.
Sweet.
I love you.
I love you. Oh.
Here you go.
This is better than anything I sent you. This is amazing. I am shocked. Look at the eyes. How did you do that to my eyes? You're good. You're really good. I love it.
I'm glad. I was like, the pressure. It's our engagement party.
I love it.
And that is the end of our video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will link all of Em's details below and hope you enjoyed.
Bye.